Hello, my name is Farhan Bashir and I am recording this video as a tutorial of Java for you. I will record each section separately and will provide you the text file of source code so you can follow along it. I will try to keep it as simple as I can. I'm not a professional teacher, but I will try to explain as better as possible. So let's get started. Java is a multi-purpose programming language. It is an object-oriented programming language. We will talk about object-oriented soon, but let me tell you a bit history of Java. Java has 4 editions: Java SE edition, Java EE edition, Java FX, and Java ME. Java SE stands for Standard Edition. EE stands for Enterprise Edition. ME stands for Micro Edition. So these all have their own purposes, but we will use the Java standard application because 94% of the application uses this edition. So I am going to use a IDE, integrated development environment, to run the Java code. You can also use the notepad to run the Java code, but it is a bit complicated and difficult to use due to some steps. So I will suggest you to install Java Netbeans IDE. You can install any IDE, it will work perfectly. There are different IDEs for Java, so I will recommend Netbeans or Eclipse. There are different versions of Eclipse, so if you want to choose, then you can use Eclipse Leona. So I am using Netbeans IDE 8.2 right now. So first of all, if you want to start, then go to the file, click on the file and click on the new project. After clicking it, you will see this panel. Click on Java. Others are not important. Click on Java and then again Java application. After that, click next and give your project a name if you like. Then give a name to main class. We will talk about class in later tutorials. So give your class a name. You can give anything. So after that, click on finish. When you click on finish, a project like this one will create it. I used a pre-made project, so nothing to worry about. So first of all, let's start. So first of all, you will see some lines here. These lines are known as comments, so you can write / and star and write anything you want, so it will be not part of the program. It is just for some description about the program, so nothing to worry about. You can also remove it if you like. So the professional programmers or professional developers use commenting to describe what they are doing, so it's up to you if you want to use it or not. So I just undo it. So our program starts from here. This is called public class and man. Man is the name I have given to this class, while this is public class. So it's a class concept is an object oriented concept, so we will talk about it later. You will understand it better. For now on, just remember to write this line. So After that we have a main method. It is known as the entry point of program. Everything we will do in an application, the application execution or the reading of the program will be start from this method. So a class is consist of many methods. So this is one method of this class. Their name are resembled, but don't worry, you can change the name. It's not an issue. But you cannot change the name of this method. It always be main. So these are some arguments, some important things. You can skip it for now. I will explain these things when we will work on our custom methods. So after that you will see a bracket. Whenever you will create a class or method or function or any block of code, you will start it with curly brace and end with it a curly brace. So always remember to use braces. So first of all, I am going to write a simple traditional statement. Okay, it is a traditional statement when someone start programming. So it starts from this statement. It is this line, highlighted line, is a combination of classes and objects, but for now we will focus on this thing. First of all, let me show you how to run this program. So when you will click on this green arrow, it will run the program, and we got this output. This is our output. So what this program is doing, this program, we tell this program to print a sentence for us. This sentence is hello world. You can write anything. Let's write something here. Hello, my name is Farhan. So when we will run this, it will show it here. Hello, my name is Farhan. So this is the basic function of system.out.print. Hi, this is Farhan. I am recording the second lecture. Okay, so in last lecture we learned about some basics of Java. So we write a statement like this. So basically this hello statement from this double quote to this double quote has a name. It is known as string. So it is a data type. Data type is something, a way of telling the memory to reserve some space in it for some values. So let's suppose if we say hello, RAM will reserve or create some space to save this word. So it is known as string. Each data type take different space. For example, a string, let's suppose a string value will take 1 byte while an integer value will take 2 bytes. This is just a example, it's not true. There are different values for the data types. You can see or search it on internet. There are lots of data types, but we will talk about some basic one. So first of all, let's start with a string data type. So to declare a data type or variable, you need to give its data type. So this is the name of variable, while this is its data type. So every variable has two attributes. One is its name, second is its value. So I'm going to give it a value of my name, and let's see another data type, which is a int. Int is a short form for integer, so we will take a value for it. So integer takes different space, while a string takes a different space in memory, but these both are data types. Let's talk about another data type. It is known as double. It is used to save a decimal point value. So if you want to save a point value in an integer, it will give an error. Let's see, the underline shows integer value doesn't accept a point value, so we will need to use a double data type. So we store 25.6 in this variable, 24 in this variable, and this value Farhan in this variable. So how can we use these variables? So let's do it here. So here we are going to use these variables in this. So here we are using this plus sign. This plus sign is known as concatenation. Concatenation is a combination of Concatenation is used to combine two variables or two values. This is not a plus sign, this is a concatenation. When you are using it in system.out.print, it will be worked as a concatenation. So we are going to combine this string value with this variable, and with again this string value, and then this string value with this integer value, this integer value, again this string value, and finally this string value with this double data type. So it might be difficult for you to comprehend this concept, but remember it as combining different values in a same place. So when we will run this program, it will say, hello, my name is Farhan and my age is 24 and I got 25.6. Let's add another sentence here. so it will complete a sentence. So here it will not use the variable name, but it will use its value. So whatever the value of a variable will, it will use it. So let's run it. You can see here, hello, my name is Farhan. So here it is using the value of variable, not the name of variable. And my age is 24. It is my age, and I got 25.6% marks. And this is how variables work in Java. Let's make a little bit change in our coding. Let's write here ln. Print ln means line. So after printing this line, it will add a new line in the output. So let's see it. It will make us to read this our output more easily. So here is our output. The build success in this is in the next line. So hopefully you understand what we have discussed. Thank you. See you in the next tutorial. Hello and welcome to the third lecture of this tutorial. Today we will talk more about variables and their working. So let's start with a integer variable. So I am going to declare two variables with the same data type. So we have this variable integer number 1 and integer number 2. We can also write both name with same data type because their data type is same, so we can write a single line and declare two variables. You can also declare third variable, so it's not an issue. So after their declaration, we will assign them a value. So for number 1, I am going to give it a value of 10. For number 2, I am going to give it a value of 10. So for number 3, what I will do, I will add these variables, add number 1 and number 2. We can also assign variables to other variables. So what we will got, we will got the output 20. So number 1, 10 plus 10 is equal to 20. So here we are not doing concatenation, here we are doing addition. So let's do another thing. Let's declare another variable number 4. What we will do with number 4, we will subtract number 1 from number 2. Let's change the value of 10 to 20 so we can see the output. Okay, number 3, is equal to number 1 plus number 2. The value of number 1 is 20, the value of number 2 is 10. So 20 plus 10 should be equal to 30, while number 4 variable is equal to number 1 minus number 2. So its answer or its value should be 10. So let's print their output. This time we will not use a string value. This time we will use the integer variable and just the name of variable. First line will print the value of, sorry, it's not number 1, it's number 3 and it's number 4. First it will print 30, then it will print 10. Let's run this program. Here you can see 30 and 10. By doing this, divide it or also multiply both numbers. For that we will need two more variables, so number 5 and number 6. Number 5 is equal to number 1 divided by number 2. Never number 6 is equal to number 1. This is the sign of multiplication. Please don't use. So let's see the output by printing their output. Here, so we know first one is 30, second one is 10, third one is 2 because 20 divided by 2 is equal to 2, and the fourth value is 200, which is 20 multiplied by 10 is equal to 200. So please always remember to use the values. What if we concatenate two integer variables here? So here we are using plus sign, so this statement will take it as a addition, not a concatenation, because these both are integer variables and these values can be sum up, these values can be add, so it will take it as an addition, not as concatenation. To make it sure, let's do this. Let's run this program. You see it's 30. 20 plus 10 is equal to 30. So here we are adding two values. If we want to show these numbers, then we have to add a string value in between them. So let's see it now. It is now printing 20 and 10. So if you want to add them, just use plus sign. If you want to show the numbers, then use a string value between them. So that's all for now. Hello, this is Farhan. Welcome to another tutorial of Java Basics to Advanced. In last couple of tutorials we have talked about some data types. You have seen string, integer, and float data type. Today we will talk about another type of data type, which is known as array. So if we see our last program, which was with number 1 and number 2, so we have declared some data types, some variables, number 1, number 2, number 3, and done some calculation there, but it takes very much space and lots of coding. Array is a combination of same data types. Let's see an example. I want to declare an array of integer value called number. So instead of writing number 1, number 2, number 3, we can declare an array. Let's see it. To declare an array, you have to add the brackets after the data type. So we have declared an array. It is how we can declare an array. After declaration, we have to initialize it. Initialization means we have to give it some value. So first of all, we need to tell the compiler that what is the size of our array. So the size of my array is let's see 5. So the size of my array is 5. It means I can save the value of 5 integers in this array. So how can I save the value? I can save value like this: my array 0 is equal to 10. So an array starts from 0 to the index number. It is the starting point and it is the ending point of an array. So if you say it's 5, then it will store 6 values, because you have to count from 0. So on array 0 we have 10, on array index 1 we have, let's say, 20, on 3 we have 30, on 4 we have 40, 50 and 60. So in total we have 6 values while we have 5 indexes. So this is index in the bracket. So what we can do with this, first of all, let's print their value. Let me do some quick copy and pasting here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So we will use the concatenation here. So let's see my a array index 5. So again copy pasting, 0 1 2 3 4. So here what it will say, value of first index is 0, value of second index is, third index is, fourth index is, fifth index is, sixth index is. Okay, so it will say value of first index is, what is the value at 0 index? It's 10. Likewise on 1 it's 20, on 2 it's 30, and go on till index 5. On index 5 it will say it's 60. So let's run this code and see output. Let's make it here line, because every value will be print in a new line, not in the same line. It will make it easy for us to read the output. Okay, we have array index out of bound exception. It's mean that we can only declare 5 element here, not 6. So our value is 5. So it's, sorry for the confusion. Okay, let's run it again. We don't have this value, so we will also remove this thing. Okay, here we have the answer. The value of first index is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So by this you can declare an array of any data type. For example, if you want to declare a data type, array of a data type string, you can also do this just by changing the data type on both places and just changing an integer value into a string value. So again let's run this. So we have the same output, there is no difference. So you can declare array of any data type. You can use here float, you can here use byte, you can use long, any data type. So here is another way of initializing an array. So let's see, you want to initialize a string array with predefined values. For example, like this one. What you will need to do, sorry for this, you need to add 2 curly braces and then just write your string in it. So what it will do, it will take this value as on index 0, index 1, index 2, 3 and 4. So when you will run this code, you will see these values 1, 2, 3, 4 and this is how you can declare an array if you know the element of the arrays. These values are known as elements, so you can initialize array like this or initialize array like we have done before. Thank you. Hi, this is Farhan and it is the 5th lecture of Java Basics to Advanced. So today we will talk about the conditions and loops. So let's get started. So in real world, when we say when we want to make a decision from two choices, we take one, like right and wrong, left and right, up and down, like this. So conditional statement in any programming language works exactly like this. So let's see a small example. So here we will use another data type which is known as Boolean. Boolean data type is a two value data type. You mean its value will always be 1, but it can be true or false. So you cannot use any string here or integer or decimal point value, but you will use a flag like true and false. So here we have declared a variable result and its value is false. So what we want to do, we want to say if result is equal to true, then do this. If it's false, then do this. It's mean if the result variable is equal to true, then it will run this block or this part of this whole condition. If it is false, then it will run this part of this whole condition. So here our result is false, so let's do it. Please remember, this double equal signs mean result value. Like if we say, for example, integer a is equal to 10, it's mean the value of a is equal to 10. But if we say integer b double equal to 10, then we are comparing the values here. It's like 10 is equal to 10. Its answer will be true. But if we will say 20 is equal to 10, so its answer will be wrong. So these are known as operators, comparison operators. So let's do something here. If result is true, then print the result is true. If result is false, then what should it print? It should say the result is false. So in our case, our result is false. So what it will do, it will print this line, not this one. It will come, it will compare result true and see the value of the result. It is false, then it will skip this part and go there and just run this part of the conditional statement. So let's say it. Okay, we got the result is false. So what if I say result is true? The value of result is true, so basically it will come here and compare the result, its value is true, then it will run this part of the result and then just exit the program. So let's see. Exactly, we have the result, it's true. It is called if else loop. So we have another kind of loop which is known as if else if. So here we will do another thing. We will declare one a variable, and let's make its value 60. So here we will also change the comparison operators. We will say if result is less than or equal to 60, then it should say you are failed. Else if result is greater than or equal to 60, it should say you are passed. If both conditions are false, then it should say no data available. So in our case our result is 60, so it will either run this or this, because in both of our condition we have equal sign here. So we are saying if result is less than or equal to 60, which is true because our result is equal to 60, then it should run this one. After running this, because the statement is true, the program will terminate. So let's see the result. So it is saying you are failed because our first condition is true. So let's remove equal sign here, and now what we will see, if result is less than 60, so our value is 60 and this condition is false, it will check the condition and skip the statement because it is false. It will come to this block of the condition. Our condition here is true because our result is equal to 60, so it will run this part of the condition. So you are passed. So what if we also remove equal sign from here, and now our result is not less than 60, our result is not greater than 60, so it should run this part of the loop of the condition. So no data available. So in either case you can use on one block equal. So in this loop you can use equal on one block, so I am going to use it here. So again this part of the condition statement will run and program will terminate from here. So we have you are failed. Okay, so what if we have two variables and we want to compare the value of both variable? So let's declare another value. So let's say value A and value B. let's say value A is equal to 10 and value B is equal to 20. So we want to compare both values. So let's see if value A is less than value B, then it should say ten is less than 20. So if our value A is greater than value B, then it should say what if both are equal, then it should say so. In our case, value A is 10 while value B is 20. So 10 is less than 20, so the first block of the condition loop will execute and the other two blocks will be skipped. Let's run it. So 10 is less than 20, so this block has run. Okay, so what if we change the value here and let's do 30. In this case, value A is greater than value B, so it will check the condition here. If it's false, then it will skip this block and then go to this block and again check the condition. It is true, then it will run this statement and skip this part. And if this condition is false, then it will also skip this part and run this block of the condition statement. So let's run this part. Okay, 30 is greater than 20. So what if we have 30 and 30 on both sides? So in this case, first and second block of the condition will be skipped and it will run this part. So we have both values are equal. So this is the basic of condition statement. So it is, you can use as many if else's if you want. You can do if, else if, else if, else if, else if, and so on. To understand the concept of condition, in next lecture we will talk about loops. Hi, this is Farhan and today we will talk about loops. Loops are used to do some repetitive task. So for example, if someone says that write your name 5 times, so traditionally you will do something like this. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, let's say 5. So when we will run this program, it will write my name 5 times. So to make this task more easy, Java and other programming languages give us the concept of loop. So there are three types of loops in Java. First one is known as for loop, second one is while loop, and the third one is do while loop. So first of all, let's see for loop. To run a for loop, we will need an integer variable. So let's say an integer and call it the start point. No, it's start value, and it's 1. The value of this variable is 1, and then we will need a keyword for. So after using this keyword, use these braces and then create its block with curly braces. So here we will fill up this area with its parameters, or you can say its attributes. So first of all, it will ask us where this loop will start. What is the value where this loop you want to start? So we have defined it here. Our start value is here, so just we will give the name of this variable and then add a semicolon. Then we want to say up to which value we want to run this loop. So let's say I want to run this value until the value of start value is equal to 10. So let's start value is less than or equal to 10, and I also want every time this loop executes, I want to add +1 value in the start value. So start value is equal to start value +1. So every time this loop will run, it will increase the value of this variable. So we have another way to do this. Just trim this part and add ++ sign here. So we have to initialize it here. So now it's right. So we have to initialize this variable inside the loop. So what it will do, it will start from here. Start value is 1, so it will increase it. It will check the value. If it's less, then it will increase it and do the task here, and after that come back here. It will compare the value, then increase it, then the task until the value is equal or less than or equal to 10. So what we want to do, we want to print out 9 for 10 time. So I want to print this my name. So what it will do, let me explain it again. It will initialize this variable, give it the value of 1, then it will check the value of this variable. So 1 is less than and also is equal is less than and equal to 10. This condition is false, so it will go and add 1 in this value and print this statement. After that, the value will be 2. It will again check it and again increment it and then print this statement. So let's run this program. So we have here name 10 times 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 10. So it is the working of a for loop. So let's do the same with another kind of loop which is known as while loop. So the syntax of while loop is like this: while and then its block. So here we will give the condition which is start value should be less than or equal to, let's say this time 5. After that, because our variable is not initialized, so it will mark this thing and just start it from 1, then print this value and then just increment 1, just add 1 in previous value. So the value of this variable is 1. It will come here. First of all, it will check the value, check the condition 1 is less than 5, so it will print this statement, and after that it will add 1. In the for loop, it was comparing the values, then incrementing the value, and after that it was printing the statement, while in this loop it will compare first and increment at last. So let's run this program, and we have 5 times name 1 2 3 4 and 5. There is another kind of loop which is known as do while loop. So let's see that one. So its syntax is like this. First of all, we will write do, and after that we will use the condition area of while. So do this until we have this condition approved. So do this until we have a start value less than 10 or 5. Okay, we are having an error here. It's because do while loop uses a semicolon at the end of its loop. So just replace this value with start value, and we have do while loop here. Let's run it, and 1 2 3 4. Why it is 4 while we have 5 here? Because we are not using the equal sign here. So let me use equal sign, and it will be 5 1 2 3 and 4 5. So we have new loop do while where we want to use it. So we use do while loop where we want to run a particular condition or particular statement at least one time. So in for loop, let's say our start value is 1, while our condition is also 1. So it will not run because 1 will be equal to 1, and this statement will never be executed. Same is the case in while loop. While in do while loop, this statement will be run at least one time. Let me show you. So let's see. We have Farhan at least one time here. So let's first of all change it with simple while loop. So here in this loop, this value will not be printed because in this loop it will not print this value because our condition will be false. Our start value is 1 and we are saying until run this loop until we have value less than or equal to 1. So it is already 1, so it will print nothing. We don't have anything. Why shouldn't we have anything? Okay, let's run it. So we don't have anything. But if we use equal sign here, when we will use equal sign, it will print it at least one time because we have 1 is equal to 1, so it will run at least one time. So when we will use it into for loop, for block of 4 start value. Remember, Java is a case sensitive language, so you have to use in for loop it will not print this name because our condition says if 1 is less than 1, so it is false condition, so it will not print this statement. So we don't have anything here. But if we use equal, so in this condition 1 is equal to 1 at least one time. After that, if it comes again and increment it, so this value will be 2 and this condition will be false, so it will print this statement at least one time. So we have Farhan here. So this is how our loop works. So please remember the function of loop and where you should use this loop. The basic thing in programming we create table of 2, 3, 4, 5 with loops. So try this exercise. I always encourage you to do coding by hand instead of copying and pasting. So see you in the next lecture. Hello and welcome to another topic of Java Basics to Advanced. Today we will learn about methods. Methods are the building block of any object-oriented programming language, or also it is used in procedural language. For example, in C you can also use methods. In different languages it has different name. In Java we call it method, while in C# or C++ we call it a function. So both have the same purpose but different name. I am using some formal name in this tutorial. For the conventions, you can also refer to the documentation. So it is easy to understand in formal languages. After practicing, you can also refer to the documentation and the real conventions of the statements. So let's start it. We have to create a method. So to create a method, we will need some keywords like public static void, and here we will write the name of the function. It will tell us the functionality of the function. For example, if we want to add two numbers, so we can call it addition. You can call it anything you want, so I'm just going to call it addition. And after that, what we will do, we will add two numbers here and print their output. So let's declare three integer variable, number 1, number 2, and number 3. Let's initialize first and second variable. Number 1 is equal to 10, while number 2 is equal to 20, and the third variable, number 3, is equal to number 1 plus number 2. So what it will do, it will add these number. So we have some spelling mistakes here. These are known as typo mistakes. So whenever you see a typo mistake in the error, you can know that you are using the wrong spelling. So let's just print their number. Let's just print their sum of numbers is plus number 3. Here we again done the concatenation. So it's not a plus sign, it's a sign of concatenation because it is combining to a string with an integer. So let's run this program. So we don't have any output here. The reason is because in the start of this tutorial I told you that this is the entry point of any program. So compiler will start reading the program from this method. This is also a method. So compiler didn't find anything here, so it don't know what this is. So to use it in our main method, we just need to write its name, which is here. So addition, and just these brackets and semicolon. Whenever you have to call a method, write its name, these two brackets, and then after a semicolon. Like this you can call the methods. So just run this program and we got the output. Sum of the number is 30. So what is the purpose of using methods? The basic purpose of using method is you can use it anywhere you want without writing the code again and again. If we didn't wrote this method, we have to copy this whole code and we have to paste it here and then print its output, and every time we have to use this code. In method, what we can do, we can just copy paste this and got the output. If we want to change anything, we don't have to change it in every code. We just can change here. Let's do it 30, and its output will be 50. Let's see, it's 50. So it increase the reusability of the code. So it decreases the lines of code but increases reusability. So this is the basic form of a method. In object-oriented programming languages, what we mostly do, we pass some parameters. So for example, what we want to do, we want to pass some parameters. So here I will declare two integers. So we have the same integers. So just let's not. Okay, we have one integer here, one here, and one here. So what we want to do, we want to add these integers. So it is going to give us an error. It is saying method addition in class cannot be applied to given types, because here we have two integers. So what we can do, we can pass the values from here, so 20 and 30. To differentiate the output from the last output, let me change the parameters here. Let's run it, and we got 110. So how it is working? It is known as parameter passing. So we are getting input from another method. So we have everything described here. So what if we want to get the output from another method? So we just describe its parameter and then just give the value where you are calling the method. In object-oriented programming, when we use classes and objects, so this is the common way of declaring, initializing, and using the methods. So according to the convention of Oracle Java, these are now not variables, these are known as now fields. So if you use the convention, the official language of Java, you can call these variables fields, while if we use something here, it will known as variable. If you are talking about inside of this method, then it will call variable, but you are accessing it from outside of this method and you are accessing it from another method, so you will call it a field. So this is just a convention, you can also skip it, it's not important. So okay, there is another concept of global variable. A global variable is accessible by both methods, so it's just a bit confusing concept, so we will skip it for later. I will discuss it in advanced Java in classes or encapsulation. Just play around with these variables and see the output. If there is question, please feel free to ask. Thank you. Hello and welcome to another topic of Java Basics to Advanced. Today we will talk about the basic and the main fundamental of object-oriented programming, which is known as a class. So if you have some confusion in previous topics from variables to methods, then please refer back to the tutorial and clear the confusion, because this is a kind of combination of all of those concepts. So if you don't know, or if you have some confusion, then you will have difficulty in getting this concept. So first of all, what are classes? The object-oriented programming languages consist of three basic concepts: classes, inheritance, and encapsulation, while classes has another concept which is known as object. So we will talk about it in a while. So first of all, if you look around yourself, you will see lots of things. Each thing have its own qualities, or if we see it in more depth, you can see each thing or each object have two conditions. One is state, another is behavior. For example, if we took a dog has its state. For example, its color is brown or black, it has eyes. Or if we see its behavior, a dog can bark, a dog can eat, a dog can run, a dog can play. Likewise, if we see another real world example, you can see a bicycle. Bicycle has a color. A bicycle you can ride a bicycle. It has gear. So if we see its current state, so we can say it's in gear 4. We can say its speed. So this is the state and behavior of any object. So we will use the bicycle concept to understand the concept of classes. So let's say, what is a class? Class is a blueprint or a sketch or a model. For example, you create a model of a house or a blueprint, and you create thousands of houses on the same model or design or blueprint. Likewise, a bicycle, you create a model of a bicycle, and you can create 1,000 or 100 or million bicycles with the same design or model. So let's start how we can use this concept in Java, or more formally in coding. So class is a bit difficult concept to understand if you are new to programming. So just try to do what I am doing, and you will gradually got the point of classes. So let's say we have a class by cycle. The declaration of any class is very similar to declaring a method. So instead of using these brackets, we will just use the curly brackets. So here we have a class. Please note that this is one class and this is another class. So we have two different classes here. So when we want to declare a class, basically in IDE like Netbeans or any IDE, you declare a class in separate file. But here, to show you how we can work with classes and to do the work on the same page, I am declaring the class on the same file. So let's start some working. So let's say we want to indicate the state of the bicycle. So just create a method. Its method name is gear. So to declare a method, we need to use these brackets here, and we can say the POS is short form for position. So let's change this method name to more understandable. Let's say we want to change the gear. So first of all, we will need the initial value of a gear, make it 0. So it's a gear, not gearer. So we have this gear. After that, let's make a method. Because our class is not public, so our class is just class, we can use it anywhere, so we are using just void. So here let's make it change gear. So what it will do, it will change the gear of the int new value. So what we want to do, we want to change the gear to new value. So initial value of gear is 0. So if we want to change the gear, we will just pass the argument from here. Let's declare another method. The more appropriate word is let's create another method. So let's void increase speed. We have to initialize another value for speed. Initial value, let's say our speed is 10 meter per hour. So just here we will do speed is equal to speed plus, let's make an increment here, make a parameter here. So increment, so what it will do, it will increase the speed to with the new value. So this is just two simple methods here with our real life example. So how we can use a class? So first of all, we need to create an object. By default, we cannot use these methods of this class by calling here. So we need to create an object for it. Likewise, if you create a model of a house on a paper, you cannot live in that house. To live or to use the house, you have to create a house. So class, as we said before, is a model, while object is the physical implementation of that class. So the object creation is very easy. We just have to write the name of our class, then we have to give it object a new name. So we can call it by cycle1. Like declaring an array, we have to use a new keyword here, and then again name of the class. Like the method, we have to use bracket here and then this sign. So we have created our first object. So just it's our first variable, so it is our first object, but I forgot to get the value. So just to do system dot, I forgot to print out the new values. So just I'm going to do this, and I'll write the gear here, same for the speed, let's make it a little bit more readable. CU double R current speed is for this we will say current gear is plus and gear. So what it will do when we will call these methods, it will print these values. So we have created our object, but still we cannot use this object until we call its behavior. For example, we want to call this method. So how we can call this method? We can say by CL disciple 1, the name of the object, and we will use the dot operator automatically give you the name of the methods. So we have two methods here, change gear and increase speed. So we will use the change gear method, and it's automatically indicating us that we have to use a value to increase the gear. So we will just pass the parameter here. So we have to give a value for this integer variable. So I'm going to use 1 because we are in the 0 gear and we want to go into the 1 gear. So just run this, and it's saying the current gear is 1 because 1 is here, so our value is 1 and gear value is 1, and the value of gear is again here 1. So this is how we are working with class. So let's say we want to also increase the speed because we have applied the gear and our current speed is 10 meter per hour. We want to make it 20. So it's very simple, just call the object and then object is bicycle 1 dot increase speed, and it is all again giving us the hint at what we can do here. I am just going to use 20 here. So we have new speed 20. So what it will do, it will give us the value of gear which is 1 and the increase speed which will be 30 because our current speed is 10 and 10 plus 20 is equal to 30. So let's do it, and we got current speed is 30. So we don't want to jump to 30 and sudden, so just make it 20. So we have 20 here. So this is how you can work with classes and objects. Again, if you have some confusion in method creation or method building or calling the variables and anything, so you have to refer back to the method lecture. Okay, so this is the concept of class. So what if we want to make another object of the same bicycle? So just we need to copy and paste this code. So it should give us error, and here is our error. It is saying the bicycle 1 is already defined. So just we can call it bicycle 2, and we can do same thing with the second object of bicycle class. So let's do here 2 and 2. We are having a race between bicycle 1 and bicycle 2, so let's make it 30 and 2. Let's run it. Oh yeah, bicycle 2 won. So it's just for fun. If you want to practice, I will suggest you to add 2 more methods here. You can also use the decrease speed or color value. So you just pass the string argument here. Instead of integer you can use string, and you can use color here, and you can give value of color from here. So let's do this thing. Let me change it. Void color. You can do the decrease speed, and I am going to do this. Sorry. So let's say we also want to define the color of bicycle too. So let's make it bicycle. So always remember, Java is a case sensitive language, so you cannot use small c in the place of capital C. So use the same c, 2 dot color color, and let's say we have here black bicycle, while bicycle 1 is gray. So we have bicycle 1 gray and bicycle 2 black. So just run it. So we have the color of this bicycle is gray and the color of this bicycle is black. This is how classes and objects work. So you can also see here we have two classes here. One is man and the second one is bicycle. You can also see the methods and everything here. So this is just practice with the decrease speed and any other thing you can think of. So let me know if you have any question. Thank you. Hello and welcome to another topic of Java Basics to Advanced. So in last lecture we see how classes works. So today we will talk about inheritance. Inheritance is another concept like classes in object-oriented programming. So let's say we all have parents and they have parents. So we inherit some of their properties like color, hair color, eyes color, and some others. Likewise, in programming languages, we can create the child or subclasses from main class. So remember, there is only one main class, while one main class can have unlimited subclasses. So the subclass is known as so the subclass is known as the subclass, but the main class is known as superclass. So there can be one superclass and there can be unlimited subclasses. So how a subclass will work, let's see in this IDE. First of all, go to the left side of this panel and right click here, go to new, add a new Java class. So here we will call our class bicycle, and then we will just click finish. So this is another way of creating a class in Netbeans Ide. In previous version, what we did, we create our class in the same file, but in this lecture we create our class in another file. Notice you have here a public class. The keyword public means you can access this class from anywhere in the project. So suppose you are working on a project and you have 10 classes. In all of those 10 classes you can access this bicycle class because it's public. If you have 2 projects, then you can again access this bicycle class because it's public. But if it's private, you cannot access this class from another project. So this is the concept of public and private classes. So here we have a public class. So let's do something here. Likewise, in the last lecture, what we did, we created some integer variables. So we have here a gear. I'm just going to copy paste it. So just this was our last, this is the code from our last class. So we have this code. You can write it or you can also copy and paste it. So we have this super class which is known as bicycle. So there are many models of bicycle, like mountain bike and other bikes. So let's create another class, public class, which we call mountain bike. So we have another class known as mountain bike. So right now it is a separate class, but we can make it a subclass of bicycle class by calling a keyword extend. So through this keyword we can make it a subclass of bicycle class. So it's extends, not extend, just public class mountain bike extends bicycle. It's mean it is inheriting all of bicycle class data in itself. So for example, let's go to the main class and let's create the object of mountain bike class. So first of all, we will write the name of our class and we will give a name to our object. So let's make it new model, and then again mountain bike. I forgot to add new keyword. So here is our object. So let's see which methods we have here in new model class. So to see the behavior in more conventional way, we will just write the dot and it will show us the methods. So let's see, this is our built-in method. So this is the method we defined: change gear, color, increase speed, and likewise. So I'm going to just select the color and we can give here a string value of, let's say it's a yellow color. So a mountain bike is empty, there is no data here, but how it's getting the color value? Because it's defined in our superclass. So as I said, you can create unlimited subclasses, but you can only have one superclass. So we have color here. Okay, let's define something also here. Okay, I'm going to also show you another type of methods. Like void method, we have another method which is known as int seed height. Okay, so we have, let's create an integer method here, and we will say height is equal to height. So we have an error here, it's saying missing return statement. So the integer type of method, so in integer type of method we have to return something, so we will call a keyword return, and what we want to return from here, the value of height. So when user will give the height value in the main class, in the object, it will give us again the height value. So it's not working. Let's change something here. So what we want to say, integer current height. So let's say increase seed height. So this is the conventional way of defining a method. So we want to increase the seed height, so we will just add the current height into height. Sorry for the issues. Okay, we don't have initial value here, so let's say it's 1 inch. So we want to get the value of current height. So if you want to get the value of height, just write here height. If you want to value of current height, just write here current height. So it will give back us the current value, which will be the result of 1 and the value we will pass from the main class. So let's proceed to the main class and let me show you how it will work. So we have new model color yellow, and let's define an integer variable here. So we want to get the new height, and new height is equal to new model object name dot current height, and we have increase seed height here. So it is asking for a value, integer value here, so let's just pass it. We want to increase just 1 inch. So here we have saved new value in an integer variable. So let's use this value. So we want to print, because we are just getting the value, we are not printing it here. So remember, this will just pass the value to the main class. It will not print the value. To print the value, we have to use system dot out dot print line. So we will just say new height of the seat of mountain bike is, we will concatenate with new height variable and just say inch. Okay, let's run this program, and we got the new height of the seat of the mountain bike is 2 inch. The color of this bicycle is yellow, so it is yellow color is about mountain bike, it's not about bicycle class. So this is how inheritance works in Java or in any programming languages similar to Java, in C++ or C#. So hope you understand the concept of inheritance. It's a simple but a very powerful concept. So always use this extend keyword to use the create another subclass. You can take it as a task, and you can create and think of another type of bicycle and create a subclass of bicycle class and use all of its properties and also some new properties. So again, if you have some confusion in this method, let's recall it again. So suppose what this return keyword will do, it will just save the value of this variable because it's 1, but when we will give some value here, it will add these both values and it will save it here. So we need something to get the new value. We can either use the system.out.println method to get the result, or we can use this return keyword. This return keyword is much more powerful than system.out.println method because we can store it in this variable and we can also make calculation on base of this variable. So if let's suppose we want to add it with another value, so we can just add plus sign in new variable and sum up these values. So that's why we used return. So in some cases, if you don't want to use don't want to return anything, you just can write here a 0 or 1 or anything, so it will return the value. So if you will return the 1, and let's suppose we have 1 plus 1 2, the value of it's 2, but it will always remember 1 to here. We can also practice it. So let's make it 0. So what we will get a 0. So we have new height of the seat of mountain bike is 0 because we are returning a 0. So if you want to return the original value, just use the variable. So this is how return works. In next lecture, we will talk about another concept which is known as encapsulation, and I will also record a video where I will use some of the concepts to do a real life tasks. For example, like I told you, we can make tables, or we can print some parameters or anything. These are real life tasks. So see you soon. Hello and welcome to the last new concept in Java, or object oriented programming language. So today we will talk about the encapsulation. In general, encapsulation is hiding all of data in a single unit. In real life, you can see a capsule which is consist of different tablets, or different tablets are hiding inside a single capsule. So this is a concept of encapsulation. Why we use encapsulation in object oriented programming language? Encapsulation gives us data hiding. The data inside a class from another class can only be accessed if we give right the class, if we give a right to that class. For example, we will create another class and we will hide the data, and this main class can access the data which we allowed to access. So let's proceed and create a new Java file. Let's call it student. We will create a student class. So here is our class. So here let's declare a string variable. So we have string name variable. This string variable right now is not hide. To hide this string variable, we will call a private keyword. So let's see how we can work with this. In encapsulation, we use getter and setter method to write or read some data. So here we want to read and write the name of student, so we will allow it through getter and setter method. We will create two methods, which one is get name and the second one is set name. So the main class can only access this variable through these methods. So let's say okay, let's declare a string method get name, and what it will return, it will return the name variable to our main class. Let's make this method a public method, and this is how we will get the name. This will give us the name, but what if we want to write this variable? So we don't have any value here. So for that, let's create another public string method and call it a set name. Let's pass a variable, a string new name. So our name will be equal to new name, and it will return us the name variable. So through this method, a class or a user can change the value of this variable. Otherwise, this will not accessible. So let's just format it and save it, and let's proceed to our main class. So as you know, to create an object, we have to write the name of our class. So our class is student, so we will call it new student is equal to new keyword and just again the name of our class. Okay, we have some spelling mistake here. D. Okay, new student dot. So you can see we are not getting the option of our name variable because it's private. You can see there is nothing here. So let me show you one more time. Let's make it just a string variable, and after that let's go here, new student dot, and you can see our name variable is now accessible because it's not private. So to hide it, we used the private keyword. So first of all, just let's set the name. So new name is my name is Farhan, and after setting this new name for student, let's print it. So we will use, sorry, I don't know what's wrong with me. System.out.print line, and we can call the get name method of new student object. Get name, because this method is string, and that's why we can use it inside system.out.print line. If it were integer, then we had to convert it into string and then we can use it here. So just run this, and it's setting the new name. So let's change the name, and again see the output, it's Joe. So this is the concept of encapsulation. So let's see, we have another variable here. Let's make it public integer id. So we have the id of student, so I think we can use it here. New student dot id is equal to 10. So we can use this id. Let's use concatenation. It's giving us an error and it just cannot find symbol. Sorry. So we have 10 here because our ID is 10. So this is how encapsulation works. If we make this variable private, it will give us an error here, and it will say ID has private access in student. So this variable is now not accessible without defining the getter and setter method for these IDs. So this is another powerful concept in object-oriented programming language. Most of the unit testing is done through this encapsulation. So hope you like this lecture. This is the last lecture in Java programming. So if you have any question, any issue, as I said in my first lecture that I'm not a professional teacher, so there might be some confusion, or you might didn't understand something, so please feel free to ask to me in any time if you are having an issue or you are getting some errors during the practicing. So I am always here. Now I will do some coding tasks in front of you, see the real working of the concept we have discussed so far. So see you in next lecture. Thank you. Hi and welcome to another lecture of Java Basics to Advance. So today we will talk about something outside of traditional programming in Java. So today we will talk about getting the input from user. So in all of our previous lectures we print out something, but we never get input from the user. So think if you are working on something and you really want to get the user input. So this is the method to get the input. Usually in most of the cases we don't use the console application until it's a system for a Linux or Unix or a system for web development. Otherwise, in desktop applications, which is my domain, we use graphical user interface, and it is a bit different than the console application. But the console application is very useful in learning any language. So today I'll show you how we can use the built-in classes in Java to get the input. There are 3 different ways to get the input, but we will use one of them which I like. So first of all, what we need to use import keyword and java.utility.scanner. So we have to call some built-in classes of Java like this. So we have called a scanner class. So as you know, to call a class we need to know to create an object of any class, we need to use the name of the class, then the name of the object, and then again new keyword, and again the name of the class. Like methods, we can also pass argument in classes. So just say we are passing system dot in argument, and we have successfully created our input object. So first of all, let's give some information to the user. Please write your name, and then what we will do, we will save the input from user in a string value, and string name is equal to input dot next line. So this is how you will get the input from the user. So after getting the input or getting the name from user, we saved it in this variable. So we have also shown the name, so we can verify. So just print line. So we'll say hello plus name. So just let's run it, and it is asking for an input. So let's see, Joe is saying hello Joe. So this is how you can get the input from a user. So let's use the same concept to do something productive. So first of all, let's create a method which will be known as integer addition. We will create a simple calculator, as I have also told you to practice it. You can match your code with mine, which you have done it. And divide. So let's pass the argument here. Integer first number and integer second number. Let's copy it. We will use it again and again. So let's create a result method here, and our result will be equal to first number plus s is second number. And what we will return, we will return the result. So it's asking for semicolon. Okay, I just copy and pasted the same code in all of our methods and just change the operators here. We have divide, we have multiply, we have minus, and we have plus. So let's remove this from here. Okay, first of all, what we want to say, please write please input first number So we will store the input in a integer variable. Let's say int first number is equal to input dot next int and we will save it into an integer variable. Then again what we will say please input second number, and we will declare another variable, and we will save the input from user in this variable. Okay, now what we will do, we will call the add method. We will pass the arguments in this method, just first number. Remember, in our practicing lecture we pass the values, while here we will pass the variables, because our values will be stored in these variables. So let's make a space here so you can see it better. Okay, this is how we call it, and we have some error here. Okay, there's a little bit change of plan here, so I just forget to add static keyword here. Static keyword is used where we tell compiler that we have the single copy of the same method, or editing it anywhere in the program. So we used the static keyword here with all of the methods. So let's call it add, and what we can do, we can call first number second number. So we have get the number from the user and we have pass it here. So let's do the same thing for all of our methods. We have 4 methods here. Let's just copy and paste the name quickly. Okay, we have done this. Now what we can do, we can give some more hint to the user what we have done or what he has done. System dot out dot println, sorry, not here, here. Okay, let's copy this line again and paste it, and just cut this from here, add it here, change some to subtract. Again do the same for multiply and divide. Sorry for the inconvenience. This idea just popped up in my mind. And let's remove this. Let's multiply it. Okay, we have everything here. We need to change multiply here, and we need to change divide. It's done. Okay, let's run this program. Hopefully everything will work smoothly. Okay, it's asking for first number, so my first number is 60. Okay, it's asking for second number, and my second number is 25. Okay, the sum of two numbers is 85. 6 to 8, 85. The subtract of two numbers is 35. 6 to, okay, 35. The multiply of two numbers is 60, 24, 150. Okay, good. The divide of two numbers is 2. 25 into 25 is equal to 50, and it will be 65. Okay, so it's not giving us the point value, so it's not a problem. That's good. Let's change it to the float. Let's call it float. There you go. Now we don't have any error here, so let's run it again. 60, same output, sorry, same input, and we have 2.4 here. Nice and easy. So this is how you can use the float data type. Okay, so this is the basic calculator. You can change the inputs, outputs. You can work with other data types if you like. Hope you understand what we have done here, so feel free to ask if you have any question. Thank you. Hi, and welcome to another lecture of Java Basics to Advanced. So today we will do some coding again, like always. So today I will show you what you can do with the loops. So what we will do today, we will use the for loop to print out the table. First of all, let's get the input from the user. Sorry, scanner system dot n. So we have input here. Let's declare a integer variable. Table is equal to input dot next end. So simple and clean, we are saving the input in the table variable. So let's call the for loop. This is the keyword. Let's make an integer I. Integer I is equal to 1. Integer I is less than equal to 10, and integer I should be incremented. So what we want to print, we want to print system dot out dot print line string plus, what we want to do here, we want to print the table of, we will write the name here, then x space, and then sorry, I forgot to add plus sign, then again plus sign, then the value, and again plus sign, then again string value, then again I into table. So I really don't know the output. Let's just analyze table. Let's see, user will input the 2 into 1 should be 2, then in next line 2 into 2 should be 2. Okay, let's see, let's run this program, and it's asking for input. Let's do 5 and enter. Oh yeah, we got the output. 5 ones are 5, 5 2 are 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. That's cool. We have done the table with the loop. So you can see what a loop can do. So let's see what if we want to decrement, or what if we want to get the value of 10 then to 1. So it's 10 to 1. So we will say integer is equal to 10, and I should always be greater than or equal to 1, and just minus the output. Let's see, 5. Okay, it's reverse printing the table. There it is, 40 and 50. Okay, everything is cool. Instead of incrementing, it's now decrementing. So this is cool. So let's, now what we can do, we can print the stars. So this is a very cool program, everybody does that. It's also a very good question in each quiz. I wasn't able to attempt it on the first time. So let's see how many times we want to print this static. So we want to print it till the user says, and what we can do, it will only print 1 star. I think we need to use nested loop here. So nested loop is the meaning of nested loop is a loop inside a loop. Integer j is equal to 1, integer j is less than equal to I, integer j plus plus. So again, I really don't know what will happen. So let's see what will be the output. That's 5. Okay, we have something very bad here. Okay, here it is. Let's say, so this is a nested loop. how it will work. First it will go start from here. Our integer is 1 should be less than table. Let's say table is 6 and it should be incremented. So it will come here, it will run this loop. Our j is equal to 1, j should be less than I. Right now our I is 1, so 1 is less than 1, which is false. It will terminate the loop and will go there. First pass of the loop is completed, so it will increment. It was incremented, so the value of I is 2, so 2 is less than 6 because we are assuming the value of table is 6. It will increment it, it will make it 7 but not use it, so it will it will increment the value after running this portion of the loop. So right now the value of I is 2, so it will come here, it will use this j is equal to 1 again, so j1 is less than 2, it is true. It will come here, print this value and increment j plus plus. Right now j is 2, it will come here, increment it, it will be 3, 3 is less than 6, and same thing happen again and again. So let's run this and let's give it 6, and we have stars in the same line. No problem, we can solve this. Now what we want to do, we want to make call system dot out dot print, and we will use our escape character. Escape character is like telling compiler that when you see these two characters, just terminate the line and go to the new line. It's mean that it will print the output in the new line. So now what it will do, it will come here, our integer I is 1, I is less than equal to 6, and then it will print this value. When it will come here, it will know that we have to create a new line, so compiler will go to the new line and then run this loop and print this value, then come here again, create a new line, then print this value, and same again. So let's run this. 6. Wow, we have a nice half parameter here. So this is the basic question. When we learn Java basics, then they ask us this question in papers, and I wasn't able to do it as I told before you. So what we can do here, okay, this is the basic working of while loop. If you are interested, you can practice the same logic with while and do while loop and see the output. Thank you. See you again in next tutorial. Hello and welcome to another lecture, most probably the last lecture of Java Basics to Advanced. Today I will tell you something about another very important concept in any programming language, and we will also discuss some advanced topics. So first of all, let's do some calculation. So I'm going to declare integer variable to integer variables, and let's divide them. What will be the output of dividing these two variables. So in general, 2 divided by 0 is equal to infinity. So let's see how a compiler or computer or a calculator will handle this result. Oh no, we got an error. So it's saying exception in thread man java.language arithmetic exception divided by 0. So we have some message here. What is meant by this exception? The exception is any kind of error which is not understood or handled by compiler. So in this case, 2 divided by 0 is equal to infinity. So there is nothing infinity in a computer. So it gives us an exception. So it's breaking our code. So there are lots of exceptions in Java. Some of them are, you see, arithmetic exception, array index, out of index exception, or connection exception, lots of exception. So how we can deal with these exception? Let's say if you want to ask a user to enter two numbers and he'll enter 2 and 0. So when you will divide these two numbers, it will just give the exception, and this is not good for any program. It will crash the program. So to handle it, what we will do, we use our try and catch block. So how we can use try catch block? First of all, there are two keywords, try and then catch. Okay, after catch you have to describe something. You have to, if you know, when you will progress in programming, you will encounter with many exceptions. So you know the name. If you know the name, if you not know the name of any exception, or you don't know which exception will occur, so you will just use the exception keyword. It's like declaring a variable, so just give it a name. So we have an exception E, and we can just say system dot out dot print line, and we can just use this and we can convert it to string. This is a build method of Java language dot throwable, so we can convert any value into a string. So let's suppose you are getting an integer value or a float value as a result from another variable and you want to show it. So you can use toString method to convert the integer value into a string value. So let's use this method and it will give us some information about the exception. So let's use the same terminology. I'm going to declare these two variables outside of try and catch block. So just this. So what it will do, it will just do the calculation here, and let's run it. So this time we have no exception, but it is giving us the message. So what if we want to give the user a message? So let's say an error, and the error is, let's use a escape sequence here and just concatenate the message, and using toString method. Okay, let's run it again. And yes, we tell the user that we got some error, and the error is Java language arithmetic is exception divided by 0. We can also say here you cannot divide a value with 0, or we can also say that infinity, which is more appropriate because it's the result. Okay, we got the result. So this is how you will handle the exception in Java. So I was telling you we will talk about some advanced concepts. It's not an advanced concept, it is a way of telling you uh, how you can proceed in Java language. I'm not very old in Java. I'm just using it from last year, so you can I'm not new in I'm not very old in Java. I'm I'm not very old in Java. I'm working Java since last year, and if you understand the basic concepts of Java or programming, then you can also proceed to the official documentation of the Java, which you can find on Google by just writing Oracle Java, and you can see all of the tutorials. There is very advanced concept there. So after this last concept, there are lots of ways. If you want to proceed your career in networking, you can go for networking in Java. If you want to be a web developer, you can go for web development or Android or any other platform. So what I mostly do, I do the desktop application using the GUIs. So if you want to explore that area, you can also do that. So as I told you before, if you have any issue, if you have any problem, if you don't understand anything, you can also refer back to me. So I have wrote each and every code we have done in text files. I have packaged it with these videos. If you still have any issue, any problem, just ask. So thank you very much for this order. So thank you very much for this order, and thank you. Happy coding.